Hello friends, welcome to Ecoholics YouTube channel. My name is Avinash Agarwal, and in this video I'll be discussing with you important government schemes and programs which can be relevant for our examinations going ahead. So this is an initiative that we had started around 6 Saturdays ago, that every Saturday we are dedicating time to discuss government schemes, to discuss government programs which can find their way into the examination. For our discussion, the first topic is talking about HAL's Maharatna status. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has been accorded the Maharatna status by the government of India. Now this is something which I believe is a sure shot topic. मतलब I am not in the game of guessing कि कौन सा टॉपिक आने वाला है एग्जाम में एंड कौन सा नहीं आने वाला है, राइट? But this mini ratna, Maharatna, Navratna status, etc. This is a very important theoretical topic. This is related to CPSUs. So I believe that because of this development, and ये development रोज नहीं होता है, okay? Any company getting a Maharatna status, it doesn't happen every year, okay? So it's very important, and it is also got to do with defense production in India. So आप जानते हैं कि defense production in India को बहुत ज़्यादा push करा जाने लग रहा है. So keeping all of these things in mind, I would like to discuss the meaning of the term Maharatna status with you. And I don't think that HAL's detailed performance review etc. is required with you, but you need to have a broad understanding of what is happening in the largely in the defense manufacturing space, right? So that is what we will discuss. Secondly, after this article is done, we will be speaking about our renewable energy capacity, because we have hit the milestone of 200 gigawatts of renewable energy, right? So wherever there is this word milestone, and where it is a genuine milestone, like this is a genuine milestone over here, reaching 200 gigawatts is not a joke by any stretch of imagination for a developing country such as India, right? So this is something which is worth celebrating. So we need to understand that what are the kind of policy steps which have been taken, which has helped us reaching here, and what are the kind of steps that we are taking so that we can go ahead and reach our goal of, I don't know what, 500 gigawatts. I think that's our goal, right? So whatever the goal is, okay. Moving ahead to the next article. Third article speaks about the PM Gati Shakti program. Only reason I have selected this is I am a little biased, right? Already a question has been asked in the Civil Services Examination paper 2, GS2, based on the PM Gati Shakti scheme, right? So I am a little biased, right? Given the fact that this article appeared in front of me ready-made, I thought that let's discuss it with you guys, because it's an important topic which has already been asked in the past, which doesn't mean that in other examinations you cannot see a question based on this. That's why I've selected this one. The fourth one speaks about the PM internship scheme, which is a new scheme which we have launched very recently. So I'm sure that you understand that this is important from a skill development point of view, right? So this is my discussion agenda today. Let us start with our discussion, guys, right? And let us take things forward, okay? So let us discuss the aerospace industry, HAL, and its Maharatna status, right? So we can start our discussion with looking at Prime Minister Modi's comments, and this is something which is extremely important to understand what he is saying over here, right? Now he is saying that central public sector enterprises, they have played a vital role in nation building. He is saying that they have significantly contributed to the economy, right? So in securing funding, in creating new technologies, in undertaking investments across various sectors, CPSEs have done a lot. They have addressed the country's needs, and they continue to act as catalysts for industrial activity. So please don't go into the exam, slapping and abusing CPSEs in India. Please don't go into the exam criticizing the contribution of public sector enterprises just for the sake of criticizing. Of course, be objective, do a critique and offer certain out of the box solutions or in the box solutions properly, right? But the broad thrust of the answer shouldn't be negative towards CPSEs, looking at the kind of commentary that is coming out, especially for these CPSEs that we are going to be discussing in this particular article, right? So it has been given a Maharatna status, HAL. Please remember that for chota mota exams, right, where they ask you typical questions such as this, ki what is this, what is that, what is it, what is that. So 14th central public sector enterprise is what Maharatna is, what HAL is now. It is the 14th central public sector enterprise to get the Maharatna status, right? And in the Indian aerospace and defense sector, मचा रखा है HAL ने, बहुत अच्छा काम कर रखा है, right? So this upgrade has been approved by the finance minister. Recommendations came from the interministerial committee led by finance secretary and the apex committee headed by cabinet secretary. Now from a procedural point of view, this is fairly important. From a procedural point of view, this is very important, that how is the Maharatna status given, right? I will be discussing this in detail going ahead, but from a procedural point of view, you must remember that the approval is by finance minister, recommendation is by IMC headed by finance secretary, apex committee headed by cabinet secretary. ठीक है, so it's a proper procedure, and अगर आपको ये question आता है, then you have to be able to be answer the question, right? Keep that in mind. ठीक है, now let us understand a little bit about this Maharatna thing. Okay, so this scheme was introduced in 1997. Idea was fairly straightforward, right? That we wanted to support our enterprises to become global leaders. Okay. So first is, let's say, your Navratna scheme. Navratna. So Navratna, they were given powers in capital expenditures, in JVs, in human resource management, right? So the idea is that if you want to undertake expansion by way of capital expenditure, if you want to enter into new markets or new lines of businesses through joint ventures, if you wanted to do a better job at human resource management, we wanted to support you in doing that. We didn't want to interfere in your day-to-day businesses. We didn't want you to run pillar to post, gathering permissions and gathering OKs and approvals for every little step that you had to take, right? So that's why we created Navratna status for public sector enterprises, right? Now what happened is that certain companies started becoming really large, right? And therefore a new classification emerged, which is Maharatna, right? Because these companies, they started exhibiting potential to become Indian MNCs. Indian MNCs meaning companies which are born and brought up in India and are now, let us say, doing business across the world, holding assets across the world and so on, right? So there was this higher status that was created for Navratna company. So Navratna became higher status for Navratna is Maharatna. So just the way you would probably want to aspire to go from, let us say, a middle class status to maybe an upper class status. Maybe, I'm not saying that you have to. Similarly, Navratna status companies could now aspire to become Maharatna status companies, right? So your brand value enhances. There is delegation of greater powers, right? And you can open the path for further growth and competitiveness, right? You get greater operational and financial autonomy, right? But if you want to become a Maharatna company, there are certain criteria that you must be able to fulfill. ठीक है ना boss? So first is, let us say that you have to be a Navratna company, first and foremost. Second, you have to get your stock market listing right. ठीक है, you have to be listed on the stock market. You have to comply with SEBI regulations. So when these guidelines are put into place, not a lot of PSUs were listed on the stock market. अभी आपको लगेगा कि हाँ तो उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है, राइट? सारे इतने सारे CPSUs जो है वो लिस्टेड है स्टॉक मार्केट के ऊपर. दैट इज टुडे. ओके, दैट इज टुडे, right? 27 years after the scheme, Navratna scheme has been implemented, right? So stock market listing is required. Why? Because stock market will induce a level of discipline in you. It will ensure that you will do your reportings on time, you will do your filings on time, you will get yourselves audited on time. And if your financial performance is not up to the mark, the bears are going to maul the price of your stock down, right? And you will be embarrassed in front of everybody, right? So you better get your financial performance right. As simple as that. So stock market listing, it does induce a lot of financial discipline in the management of the company, right? And of course, we are going to look at the financial performance before we start handing out Navratna status to you. So you need to have an average annual turnover of over rupees 25,000 crore in the last 3 years. Okay, यानी कि you should be a very important player in the sector that you are operating in. 25,000 करोड़ का माल बेचना खाने का काम नहीं है, right? That is the average annual turnover that we are talking about. 25,000 करोड़, ठीक है? Average annual net worth exceeding 15,000 crore during the same period, that is last 3 years. Average annual net profit after tax greater than 5,000 crore over the last 3 years. None of these things are easy to achieve, and I am reasonably confident that you will have to remember these criteria for your examination, especially for prelims or MCQ kind of examinations. They are extremely likely to ask you this question this year going ahead, right? Global presence. Company, it should have a significant international operation or a global presence, right? Now, here is the point where I will say that my job is done, your job starts. Okay, I'm not going to go into HAL's financial performance. I don't think any examiner is going to drag you into the same, right? Now, implication of getting this Maharatna status is that you will have enhanced financial autonomy. You will be able to take your own investment decisions on your own without prior government approval. You will be able to facilitate quicker project implementation because it's all in-house approvals that you have to give to yourself, right? So whether it is project implementation or it is innovation or it is efficiency, all of these things should be able to be in the right direction. Okay, now these are all your 14 Maharatna CPSEs in India, starting from BHEL, BPCL, Coal India, GAIL India, HPCL, IOCL, NTPC, ONGC, Power Finance Corporation, Power Grid Corporation, Steel Authority, Rural Electrification, Oil India, and now Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Right. So in certain examinations which are more memory based examinations, they are likely to ask you which of these is not a CPSE or which of these is the CPSE. Right. So probably you will have to torture yourself in remembering all these 14 CPSEs ka name. Maybe, depending upon the quality of examination that you are appearing for, right? Strategic importance is very important over here to consider. Okay, HAL is extremely important from our defense capabilities point of view, from our self-reliance point of view, right? This company has played a very important role in creating Tejas, which is our light combat aircraft. This company is playing an important role in development of light utility helicopter. This company is playing a very important role in the indigenization of defense production in India as well as modernizing of India's armed forces, right? And it will also strengthen our Atmanirbhar Bharat thing, right? So HAL has recently been given a contract for AL-31 FP aero engines for the Sukhoi 30 MKI aircrafts. 26,000 crore का जो है ये दिया गया है, contract दिया गया है. So there is a serious commitment that this Modi government has exhibited towards indigenous defense manufacturing. In the last 10 years, there are a lot of hits and misses, but one thing is a sure shot hit, and that is indigenous defense manufacturing, which has been given a huge fillip in India, right? If you look at the performance of defense stocks on the Indian stock market, crazy amount of returns have been generated in the last 10 years, right? So this is it for me for this particular topic. I am not going to go into the brief history of HAL. I am not going to discuss the milestones of HAL. I am not going to discuss the conclusion on HAL. I am sure that you are appreciating the topic already. So my job in this topic is done. Now let us move to something else, something more important, right? So something else, something more important is in front of you. India's renewable energy capacity, 200 gigawatts milestone, right? So this is a significant milestone that we have hit on October 10, 2024. This information is coming through the aegis of Central Electricity Authority, right? So we have reached 201.45 gigawatt, right? And this again is a massive, like I mentioned in my previous discussion, that yes, there are hits and misses for this government in the last 10 years. One thing that is a sure hit is the massive focus that they have placed on renewable energy capacity creation. Absolutely, it's unrelenting pace of addition of renewable energy capacity. Of course, private sector is also playing ball in this entire enterprise. It's not just the government of India which is getting it done, but the mission that is there in front of them, that is driven from the top, right? So dedicated efforts because of that, right? We have sprawling solar parks, we have wind farms, we have hydroelectric projects, right? And we are building a huge energy base in the renewable sector, right? So as a result of this, reliance on fossil fuels is coming down. As a result of this, energy security is something that we are able to achieve, right? Apart from that, we also have around 8,000 megawatts of nuclear capacity, right? So the idea over here is that if you look at the non-fossil fuel based power generation capacity ka contribution, so almost half of India's installed electricity generation capacity is coming from non-fossil fuel based power now, right? If you obviously nuclear is not fossil fuel, right? Renewable is not fossil fuel. So if you add both of these two guys together, right, almost 50% is already coming from non-fossil, right? So that is something of an achievement, and going ahead it's only going to increase, right? So you can clearly see over here that हमारी जो total capacity है that is 452 gigawatts, उसमें से जो renewable है that is 201 gigawatts, which is around 46% of the total installed capacity, right? सोलार का कैपेसिटी जो है दैट इज अराउंड 90 गीगावाट्स, ठीक है. विंड इज एट अराउंड 47 gigawatts, right? There is huge potential in coastal areas, in inland wind corridors, right, which we are going to tap going ahead. Hydroelectric का contribution अगर आप देखेंगे, so that is around 46 gigawatts. Small hydro का contribution is around 5 gigawatts, right? Small hydro is a reliable and very sustainable way of doing things, right? Large hydro का future is not so strong, right, because it's a very risky enterprise, and damming the rivers for hydroelectricity and all of these things, it's an extremely complicated affair when it comes to land acquisition, land submergence, displacement of the communities which are living in those areas. Hydroelectric is something that probably we want to stay away from, right? Biomass, biopower, including biomass and biogas, that is around 11 gigawatts, right? Now in some of the examinations which are more memory based examinations, remembering this order becomes very important. So your order goes like this: solar, followed by wind, followed by hydro, followed by I don't know what, small hydro, right? And after hydro and between small hydro is your biopower, right? So remembering this order becomes slightly important, right, in examinations which are more focused on this, right? So this is something which is not going to change overnight, right? I remember that this particular distribution, at least in terms of ranking, has been the way it is for a fairly longish period of time, right? So please make the effort of trying to remember this order as it is, right? When it comes to leading states, right, in renewable energy capacity, so Rajasthan is leading the way thanks to solar, if I'm not wrong, followed by Gujarat, followed by Tamil Nadu, followed by Karnataka, right? Again, this is something which is important. You will have to put yourself through remembering this. I don't think anything more than this is required in this particular section. This is very important. Key schemes and programs which have enabled the journey so far, right? So like I was rightly mentioning, that we are going to achieve 500 gigawatts of installed electric capacity from non-fossil sources by 2030. Normally, you are sure that government is not going to meet its targets, or it's not going to fulfill its goals. Normally that is the case. Even you know that. Like for example, doubling farmers income by 2022. It was a dream that was sold which was never accomplished, right? But in this particular case, you can be almost 100% sure that come 2030, forget 2030, before 2030, we may end up achieving this targeted capacity of 500 gigawatts of installed electricity capacity. Of course, it is not coming without problems, because these capacities are getting created, but we have no way of evacuating power into the grid. We are having grid related challenges. We are having project finance viability related challenges. I am not saying that these challenges are not going to be there. Challenges are going to be there, but one thing is for sure, that we will be achieving this 500 gigawatts of installed electricity capacity from non-fossil by 2030. It is happening, right? It is happening, right? If you look at the schemes, so your National Green Hydrogen Mission, your PM Kusun, your PM Surya Ghar, your PLI schemes for solar PV modules, right? Huge effort is there, right? Your green corridor, green energy corridors program, right? So combined, cumulatively, these efforts have given a massive push to this renewable energy capacity creation, right? So yeah, that's it, right? So power bids of 50 gigawatts per annum by renewable energy implementation agencies, right? Notification of a trajectory for renewable energy power bids, right? Whatever that means. Foreign direct investment permit up to 100% automatic route, so money will come, money will not be a problem. Interstate transmission charges have been waived off for solar and wind projects, so these guys are being incentivized, right? Apart from that, green hydrogen project has also been given the same incentive, and offshore wind projects have also been given the same incentive, right? There is renewable purchase obligation trajectory which has been put into place to make sure that there is enough demand for renewable purchase, renewable energy power, right? So you can see that these are all long term steps that are being taken, that आपको खरीदना ही पड़ेगा, आपको long term commitment देना ही पड़ेगा, right? This notification is again looking at this long term window over here, whatever this means, right? You can see that this waiver has been given till 2032. So we are giving policy certainty, we are giving policy predictability. That is what the complaint has been always, right? That in government of India की policy कब बदल जाए हमारे को मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा, right? But the good thing over here is that there is a policy certainty that is being reflected over here. We have created a project development cell so that we can attract and facilitate investment in renewable. Standard bidding guidelines have been issued, right? Ultra mega renewable energy parks are being set up, right? Viability gap funding scheme for offshore wind projects has been put into place, right? We have issued electricity rights of consumers rules 2020, right? For net metering up to 50 kilowatts, so that if I am establishing solar rooftop, then I know that I will be able to, set off the electricity production and consumption that I do via solar, and I am not billed for the entire amount. National Repowering and Life Extension Policy for Wind Power Projects 2023. Strategy for establishment of offshore wind energy projects. I don't expect you to know all of these things, and you don't expect me to know all of these things. But if you can mention 7-8 of these things in your papers as steps taken, couple of steps for solar, couple of steps for wind, couple of steps for hydro, couple of steps for biomass, in a structured manner in the paper, then examiner will be sure to be impressed, right? If you don't do this kind of structuring, if you just throw one step, second step, third step, fourth step, blah 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 blah, that's not going to help your cause, right? So please help yourself, right? Offshore wind energy lease rules. So you see that in terms of policies, in terms of steps to give certainty, etc., a lot of these steps have been taken. A lot of steps have been taken. Good. So what is the conclusion? Conclusion is that yes, we have reached a significant milestone. 200 gigawatts of installed capacity is not a joke. It shows that we are committed to having a sustainable energy future in our country, right? We have been focusing not just on one leg but 4 legs: solar, wind, hydro, as well as bioenergy. We have National Green Hydrogen Mission, PM Kusum, PM Surya Ghar, PLI schemes supporting government's initiatives. The ultimate idea being that we want to reduce reliance on fossil fuel and have energy security in our country, for which we are targeting 500 gigawatts of non-fossil solar and non-fossil energy by 2030. And eventually we will emerge as a global leader in renewable energy. Not only will we contribute towards our own growth and prosperity, but we'll also be contributing towards environmental sustainability at a global level, right? We'll be able to create a greener economy, right? We'll be able to meet our energy needs without compromising the future generations' capabilities of meeting their own needs, right? So that's the definition of sustainability for you, right? So this is my second discussion done. Quickly, I would like to move ahead now and talk about the PM Gati Shakti scheme, transforming India's infrastructure and connectivity. So again, this is a very very important scheme. आपको इसको बहुत अच्छे से समझना है. Okay, so the idea is that 75th Independence Day it was, right, when we announced the PM Gati Shakti initiative from the ramparts of Red Fort, right? So National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity, right? So that was launched in October. Okay. So the idea is that uska 3rd anniversary is what we are celebrating now. Baapre. Right. This National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity Circular ka 3rd anniversary is what we are celebrating. Right. So congratulations to all of you guys. Right. So again, this is basically a digital platform. Right. Why this question was asked in GS2 was that this is a massive governance overhaul that we are trying to do. Massive governance overhaul that we are trying to do. So this is a digital platform, right? So earlier what the problem was? Earlier the problem was that there were a lot of silos, right? That my ministry is working in one silo, your ministry is working in one silo, some other ministry is working in another silo, some other ministry is working in another silo, and we will not talk to each other. We will not look at each other. We will not coordinate with each other. This is nonsense. And this nonsense was a reality. Now to break down these silos, to make sure that these guys are able to collaborate with each other, are able to work with each other, right? So we created this digital platform, right? Railways Ministry, Roadways Ministry, etc. were brought on the same platform so that integrated planning, coordinated execution can be achieved, right? Seamless and efficient connectivity in our country can be created, right? And especially last mile connectivity can be created, because from here to here projects get created, but going from here to here will take more time than the time it took to go from here to here, right? So that last mile connectivity is also very important, right? So various schemes, various ministries, Bharatmala, Sagarmala, inland waterways, dryland ports, Udan, they are all being monitored, they are all being implemented, they are all being coordinated via the same digital platform, right? So all these infrastructure schemes of various ministries, they are all on a single platform. So what are the 6 principles of Gati Shakti integrated development? सबका साथ सबका विकास. मल्टीमोडल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, जबरदस्ती रेलवे लाइन मत घुसाने की कोशिश करो अगर रोड जा सकता है तो. लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी, मेक श्योर दैट पॉइंट एक्स इज कनेक्टेड टू पॉइंट वाई कंप्लीटली. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक्स से यहां तक का रास्ता टूटा हुआ है, बाकी सब बना दिया. Right, reduced ecological impact, expedited land acquisition because people will cooperate with each other, and minimized clearances because everybody is coordinating on the same platform. Right, so you see that this national master plan, it onboarded 44 central ministries, 36 states, 16 14 1614 data layers have been integrated. Data accuracy key ministries are there, SOPs are there. Right, 8 infrastructure ministries are there, 15 social sector ministries are there. So you can imagine that this is a massive governance overhaul. There is also a compendium for crying out loud, right, on data management, जिसको DPIIT ने तैयार कर दिए for stakeholders. Right, these are the 7 engines of PM Gati Shakti. This is what we want to develop. Right, एक और कंपेंडियम डेवलप कर दिया, उसके भी 2 वॉल्यूम डेवलप कर दिए, वॉल्यूम 1 एंड वॉल्यूम 2. राइट, एक वॉल्यूम से काम नहीं चलेगा तो 2 बनाए हमने. Right, so सब कुछ कर दिया. मतलब the idea essentially being over here that when it comes to ensuring that there is a coordinated push ahead, we have done it all. District master plan portal is being developed so that we can extend PM Gati Shakti to the district level. Right, ताकि district level के ऊपर भी coordinated work can be done, coordinated between the central government and the state government and the local authorities. Right, so this is again a massive push over here ahead. Right, so numerous achievements are there. अब जैसे for example your Ministry of Road Transport, they have planned around 9,000 kilometers of roads using this PM Gati Shakti. Railways, they have planned more than 27,000 kilometers of railway lines. Right, so people are using it. That's the first advantage. ठीक है. Now Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, they streamlined the process of detailed route survey. तो जो पहले 6 से 9 महीना लगता था, अब एक दिन में होता है यूजिंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक DRS. सो यू सी द टर्न अराउंड टाइम हैज बीन रिड्यूस क्वाइट अ बिट. ठीक है. 13 गीगावाट्स रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट फ्रॉम लेह टू काइथल अचीव्ड ऑप्टिमल अलाइनमेंट ऑफ द ग्रीन एनर्जी कॉरिडोर. तो सबने आपस में कोऑर्डिनेट करके, आपस में बातचीत करके ग्रीन एनर्जी कॉरिडोर के अलाइनमेंट को इंप्रूव करवा दिया. गोवा यूज द प्लेटफॉर्म टू डेवलप अ डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान. वाह. उत्तर प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयड स्टेट मास्टर प्लान. राइट, उसके बाद गुजरात प्लान्ड 300 किलोमीटर कोस्टल कॉरिडोर यूजिंग NMP. राइट, सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट पीपल आर यूजिंग इट. राइट, दैट इन इटसेल्फ इज अ स्मॉल अचीवमेंट. Right, governments are using it, that in itself is an achievement. Right, so good, excellent. There is something also about national logistics policy over here. In case you are interested, please have a look at it. Right, I will not be stopping over here. Okay, moving ahead to the next one. Okay, the next article, the last article that I would like to quickly bring to your attention is the PM's internship scheme. Right, so skill development and employment are essential needs in India. Our government is continuously working in this direction. Right, so the idea over here is that we have announced this scheme in the Union Budget 24-25. Pilot project ko we have started. 1.25 lakh internships is what we want to create across 24 sectors such as oil and gas, energy, travel, hospitality, automotive, banking and financial services. Right, so these are good sectors to target. These are important sectors in India. Right, so we have launched this on 3rd October 2024. Right, we will be providing internship opportunity to 1 crore youth across 500 companies. We will be providing a monthly stipend of 5,000 rupees a month for selected intern for 1 year. And we have created an online portal for everything to be registered and done in a very transparent manner. Right, so important stuffs have already been highlighted. Right, graduates from IITs, IIMs, NLUs, IISERs, NIDs and triple ITs, CAs, matlab almost anybody and everybody will be covered over here. Right, so that's the good part, the eligibility part. Right, you have to be a top 500 company. Right, based on your average CSR expenditure. Right, MCA will help in identification of these companies. Right, monthly stipend 5,000 throughout the internship period will be provided. Right, so 500 will be contributed by partner countries, 4,500 will be provided by DBT, by Government of India. One time grant of 6,000 will be disbursed after joining the internship. Right, that will also be done to DBT. Right, insurance coverage will also be provided to the participating youth. Right, and we have created a portal to be able to monitor everything. Okay, So yeah, this is the fourth article done. So I hope that you have appreciated the content that we have discussed, guys, right? This is something which is really important, and do have a look at it in the examinations coming ahead. It will be, you'll be seeing some of these topics getting asked. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Thank you so much. All the best. Bye bye.